Hi, my name is Mason Truong. I'm a staff writer on the Bertola Pilot, and today we're learning how to make red velvet brownies in order to celebrate Valentine's Day. The first step you're going to do is set your oven to preheat to 350 degrees. Start lining your brownie pan. The first thing we're going to do is butter the pan. So we're going to take our somewhat warm butter and you're going to grease it all over the pan. This is to make sure the brownie batter doesn't stick too much. After you finish greasing the pan with the butter, then you can place your parchment paper inside the pan. First, you're going to add your 8 tablespoons of melted butter, unsalted, and then you're going to add it in. And then set that aside. And then you're going to add approximately 1 cup of sugar. And then you're going to want to add your cocoa powder. You want to add 1/4 of cocoa powder into the mixture. And then you're going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I usually eyeball it, you can measure. And then you're going to want to add around 1 tablespoon of whatever food coloring, red food coloring you have on hand. Finally add our 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Not too much salt. And then we're going to start mixing it up. You want to take your whisk and stir it around. Make sure not to stir it too vigorously, just to make sure it's all evenly combined. And then now we're going to add around 1/2 teaspoon of white vinegar. Stir that in a little bit. Now we're going to take 2 eggs and whisk them in together in a small bowl before combining in the larger batter mixture. Now we're going to whisk our 2 eggs together in our small bowl just like so. Okay, now that we finished whisking our eggs in the small bowl, we're going to pour it into the larger brownie mixture, just like so. Now we're going to pour in our flour, so we're going to add a little bit at a time to make sure we get no overflow. Get about this much flour. Then we're going to fold it in. The flour is going to be around 3 to 3/4 cups of all-purpose white flour, and you make sure you stir it in. We're going to pour most of it inside our prepared pan and leave 1/4 for the topping. Now we're going to start working on our cream cheese batter. So the first step is you want to take your 8-ounce cream cheese, or usually just 1 box of cream cheese. You want to take it out a little before you want to take out your cream cheese a little before you start making this recipe, so it's a bit soft because you don't want it to be super cold and stiff. Before you start mixing, you also want to add your 3 tablespoons of white sugar. And then next step, you also want to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. I just eyeball it, so you just want a little splash. And then you want to add 1 large egg yolk. So to get an egg yolk, you want to take your regular egg, like so, but to make sure you want to leave the egg yolk in one of the shells. And then to get rid of the egg whites, you sort of transfer it over to the other ones, and make sure you have all the egg whites drop out, just like so. Keep doing that until you get all the egg whites out. You just pop in your 1 egg yolk. To make the cream cheese swirl on the top, we're going to add a couple dollops of cream cheese. We're going to take another small spoon and add dollops of our red brownie batter into the mix. Next, you're going to take either something sharp like a toothpick, or for this instance, I'm using a chopstick. You're going to take it and you're going to swirl around with the cream cheese batter and the brownie batter. You're going to take your batter, put it in the oven once it reaches 350 degrees, and then set a timer for 30 minutes, and then take them out of the oven when they're ready. And then they should look something like this. And then you're gonna let them cool from around 5 to 10 minutes. The final step in our recipe is to cut and serve these brownies. Here are our final red velvet cream cheese brownies. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Please support the pilot and hope everyone has a happy Valentine's Day sharing these treats with their Valentine, friends, family, and or partners. Happy Valentine's Day! Bye!